Y listo. Ahora chicos, viendo otro capítulo más. 24 chicos. Como siempre, continuamos este mágico juego. Ahora sí chicos, vamos al final. Segurísimo, estoy segurísimo. Vale, os pido disculpas por lo de ayer. Se ha cortado la transmisión. Vale, así de golpe, ¿vale? Dijo que tenía mala caída, así que, bueno, lo dejé para mañana porque de noche sería mala conexión. Vale, ahora mismo estoy bien y ahora vamos a continuar, vale. Vale, está un poco morraso. ¿Por qué? Porque he tomado vino porque tenía tanta hambre que flipas. Y nada, pero estoy bien. Vale, antes pensaba que no podía usar. Vale, sí, puedo usar, es que tenía que esperar. Y vamos a usar. Vale. Vale, hemos disparado. Aunque no sé si hemos acertado. ¿Y ahora?
Sir Divish.
Sir Divish said you tell me what happens next.
Aye. We're going to watch Ishtar shit himself.
That's all.
For a few days at least. So if you have anything to attend to, now's the time. Just don't forget to come back. Good luck then.
Ah, hay que estar preparado. Eso no va. Espera que finalice los 2 días. No me paseo. Los 2 días, venga, ya. Bueno, así. Prepárate para el santo, ya, pero bueno. Ya, pero yo quiero ya. A ver con el capitán. Venga, ¿por qué no? Venga, es que yo estoy preparado para siempre. Aquí
I'm
estoy.
here.
Can't you see we're still bombarding? You came too soon.
No voy a decir nada más. Porque yo quiero continuar, a esperar 2 días, vale, pues hacer así. Un día. Vamos a esperar un día. Vale, es que me han dejado 2 días para acabar los trabajos que faltan. Bueno, ya me he acabado casi todo, Me faltan algunos, pero no, pasamos esas misiones. Tampoco no tiene mucha importancia, pero bueno, si quieres probar, pues bueno. A ver, yo juego con las misiones secundarias porque son fáciles y se dividen entre facciones. Así que yo juego misiones secundarias, yo prefiero misiones principales para acabar este juego. ¿Vale? Y tengo muchas ganas de acabar, ¿vale? Es que se me está haciendo largo este juego. Vale, va a ser 24 capítulos al parecer. No sé si va a haber 25. Pero hombre, me está gustando mucho, pero quiero acabar este juego. Pensaba que va a ser largo, pero vamos. Con misiones principales sería más corto, sería. Vale. Vale, tengo un hambre que flipas. Mejor vas a comer el caldero. A ver, ¿dónde está? Aquí. Come algo. Come algo, tío. Vale, come. Vale, apareciendo hay otro caldero, ¿no? No sé si había otro caldero. ¿No? Sí, mira, aquí hay otro. No sé si puedes comer otra vez. Sí, mira, puedes comer otra vez. Perfecto. Es que me da bastante comida esto. A ver, ¿cuánto? 88, perfecto. Pues nada, pues vamos a esperar otro día más. Uf. Energía baja, o sea, se cansa demasiado. Vale, espérate. Yo creo que puedo dormir ahora, ¿no? Así gana un poco más tiempo. Vale, hasta ahí, vale. Como dije, voy a omitir esto porque es que no voy a esperar 2 días. ¿Qué coño haces esperar 2 días ahora? Vale, ya falta poquito. ¿Qué hora? ¿A qué hora era? ¿A las 4 o a las 5? No, no me acuerdo. No sé si era un poco más temprano o era más tarde. No sé. Vale. Cargando. Cargando. Vale. Vale. Ahora come algo. Ahí. Venga, y vamos a esperar así. ¿Me ha chapado a las 9? A ver qué pasa. A ver qué pasa. Ah, que son las 9, sí, me parece que sí. Es de la mañana, sí. Creo que era de la mañana. Uf, qué ganas tengo. Vale, pero vas a ir final. Porque me habéis comentado, cuando sale la cinemática y lanza, y cuando dispara, eso significa el final. O sea, vale, vamos a matar al puto traidor, al necio este, hijo de puta, y vamos a salvar a nuestro padre. Y la señorita, no, amante sería, amante, nuestra amante. Bueno, solamente quería consolar. Es que había una misión secundaria. No tenemos que ayudar con ella y resulta que teníamos, bueno, Sesu, ¿vale? Si me entendéis. Vale, o sea, hemos ido infiel con su marido. Bueno, es que quería consolar. Y pues nos regalaron una camiseta, ¿vale? Como falleció su marido. Vale, y ya está. Vale, perdón no he enseñado, pero bueno, si que ver otro youtuber, mejor. Para mí yo prefiero los principales. Vale, pues... Yo estoy preparado. ¿Ya? Aquí
I'm
estoy.
here.
Can't you see we're still bombarding?
¿Eh?
You came too soon. God be with you.
Vamos a ver, ¿qué misión es ahora? Esperar 10 días, ¿no? A lo mejor es Hunter. Bueno, pues esperamos un poquito más. No sé. A lo mejor era por la tarde. No sé si era la tarde. O tengo que ayudar a alguien. No sé. ¿Necesitas ayuda? ¿En serio, tío? ¿Necesitas ayuda? No puede ser. No. Ya estoy harto de ayudar. Ya, comida, ya he entrado. Todo lo necesito. Si una polla voy a ayudar otra vez. Yo quiero acabar ya este juego. Quiero acabar ya. Es que me dice ahora que es pronto. ¿Qué dice que es pronto? Ya ha pasado casi 2 días ya. Me dice que es pronto. Venga ya. Porque cuando tengo que tenía que probar. Es que, en serio. ¿Ya? Vale. Ojo, se avecina, Vale, ¿cómo meter esto? Un poquito más, vale, ahí. Un notable, expresión notable. Venga, ya, ¿no? Vale. Vale.
Since Sir Divish's colours still aren't flying over Talmberg, I suppose we'll be
Vale,
attacking.
era para tarde,
Just
vale.
so. That Istran's a stubborn bastard.
All right, when do we start?
Ahora, ¿no?
There's no reason to wait. Are you really ready? If you need to rest or anything, we can still wait. You won't have another chance until we've won the day. Or until you're final.
Vale, está diciendo un aviso.
I'm ready.
Estoy listo.
Glad to hear it. We're going to attack on 2 fronts. The north gate and the west wall, which will scale with ladders. The attack will be split into different stages. Taking the outer walls, the inner bailey, and finally the core of the castle and the tower.
¿Cómo tomas los
How do we
exámenes?
take the battlements?
Either by scaling the west wall, or our men at the gate will help. If they can break through, that is.
I think I've heard everything I need to know.
Do you want to join the attack on the walls or on the gate? Remember, many of the Skalitz men will follow you. It could make a big difference.
Las almenas.
I'll help with the attack on the walls.
I'm proud of you, Henry. You've changed from an insolent pup into a tough, reliable fighter.
Genial.
And as God is my witness, we will kick those whore sons' arses.
A village lad and an old soldier. This man must be shaking in his boots.
If he's not shaking,
Vale, empezamos a ser
he
amigos
doesn't
ya.
know what he's got coming.
Antes creía que, no soy, que soy inútil y nada, eso venía como un cobarde, pero al final he
Something
cambiado.
always gets fucked up. Keep your eyes open and take advantage of every chance. Help your comrades and don't go rushing in where you're outnumbered. We have to take the castle gradually, one position after another.
I'll remember that.
Vamos a conquistar el castillo.
Good luck to you, stripling.
Bastante.
Good luck to you, old soldier.
Son amigos, somos amigos. Olvido no completar. ¿Completar robar? ¿Cómo? ¡Ojo! Vale, 6 cimas de cambio que habéis dicho. ¿Qué pasará esta misión? Diana. Vale, así es ese punto. Vale, ahora sí. Uf, épico, loco. Uf. Ya que tenemos que ocupar de las murallas nosotros. A ver qué el capitán roba. Se acaba de hablar con el capitán. Ah, será para ayuda. No le ha ayudado. Vaya, pues nada. Pues tampoco no pasa nada. Vale, misión completada, asedio. ¿Asedio? ¿Esta misión? No sé. Vamos. Uf, qué ganas tengo. ¡Atacar! ¡Vamos a atacar! Esta batalla es la última, creo, ¿eh? Esperemos que sea la última. Vale, saltar a las murallas. Guau, tenemos que escalar las murallas. O tenemos que entrar directamente. Vamos a ver. Va a ser épico, seguro. Joder, venga ya. Es que, ¿cómo tardas en cargar, macho? Es que en serio. Ojo. Motito, las armas. A ver si las tengo. Vale. No voy a necesitar el arco porque me habéis comentado. No necesitas el arco. Vas a luchar con mazo. ¡Uva! ¡Uva! Vale, hay que esperar. ¡Vamos, chicos! Voy primero. Uf. Va a haber una cantidad de enemigos, ¿no? Porque, a ver, cuando venía en Egipto, a lo mejor uno de los cuantos habían entrado, ¿no? No lo sé. ¡Ojo, ojo, ojo! ¡Yo tengo! Uy, va, tramposo. Cuidado, cuidado. Vale, ya está aquí los hallados. Vale, uno menos. Cuidado, están bien dados, Vale. Vale, otro menos. Vale. Vamos. ¿Dónde? Vale, sí. ¡Wow, wow, wow! Cuidado, cuidado. Cuidado. No, tío, no hagas eso. No sé si he matado a uno. No sé. Uy, cuidado, cuidado. Cuidado, cuidado. Vamos. Vale, uno menos. Joder, tío. Vale, otro menos. Vamos. Vale, otro menos. Uf, cuidado, son unos cuantos ahora, ¿eh? Oye, perdón. Vale, uno menos. Pero tío, cúbrete, ¿eh? ¿Y eso qué ha sido eso? Vale, cuidado, que tienen mazos y martillos. Vale, cuidado, que tienen martillos y todo. Pero vamos, muérete ya. Bueno, tú. Pero ¿cómo puedes aguantar tanto este mazo, tío? Vale, uno menos, cuidado. No puedo curarme, tío. Ah, no, no puedo curarme. ¿No puedo curarme ahora? ¿No puedo curar? En serio, no putada. Buah, está jodido, Vale, vale, ahora, vale, ahora, un momentito. Repara todo esto, repara todo esto, vale. Comete una poción. Bueno, perdona, lo estoy regalando como un... No, más, no, vale. Cómete otro, para si acaso. Vale, sí, cómete otro, sí. Venga, vamos. Vaya, ya los aquí, vale, vámonos. Joder. Vale, cuidado. Cuidado, cuidado. Quimera. Ah, tú. Toma. Matar. No puedo matar. Bueno, nada, no pasa nada. ¿Vale? Este tiene pinta de billete. Venga. ¿Qué falta? Espera, que hay más, que no veo. No sé qué ha pasado. Vale. Vale, otro menos. Aguanta, cojones. Vale. Vale. Dios. ¡Ojo! El ganador agilidad, defensa y vitalidad. Así de golpe. Uah. Pues sí que aumenta, Joder. Uf. Dios, pensaba que íbamos a perder. Pero, joder, unos cuantos, Eran unos cuantos. Eso sí que me gusta más. Uf. Muchos años perdidos. Uf. ¿Qué pasará, No sé cuánto he cargado. Unos 15 o 20, no sé. Épico, épico. Vale, pues ya no quedan refuerzos, suponemos. Vamos al boss final, ¿no? Toma, ya. Ganamos.
Sir, we should give the order.
Let's see if Ishvan Toth can worm his way out of this one.
Don't tempt fate, Hanash.
Ishvan! It's over! You want us to come and get you?
I wouldn't advise that. Your friend Divish wants to see his wife alive again.
And Sir Radzig? Are both hostages unharmed?
For now, Hanush, unless circumstances change.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. My guest is also safe and sound.
Su novio.
But he's also quite keen to go home. I imagine you feel the same way. It's been a long time since you warmed yourself at your own hearth.
I'm in no hurry. I've plenty of supplies here, grand view and excellent company. What more could I want?
Your freedom!
Freedom? Freedom to get an arrow in the back?
Sir, you're all noblemen here. All bound by honor. I give you my word as a knight and lord, and that of my companions. If you release Lady Stephanie and Sir Radzig, you may leave the castle with your men and go on your way unharmed.
And just how far will we get? What good will it do me if your men attack us in the woods instead of here?
If you give me your word of honor that you will leave and never return, I promise you safe passage to the boundary of this fiefdom. What happens after that is up to you and the will of God Almighty.
Very well then, but I want a small safeguard. I'll give you her ladyship, but Radzig comes with me. I'll release him in Scullets.
Out of the question! Is our word not good enough for you?
Is mine not good enough for you? I swear I'll release him when I get to a safe distance.
I'll go with him, Hanush. Let the Lady Stephanie have her freedom now.
Father!
Don't worry, son. I trust Lord Toth's self-interest more than his word. He wouldn't be fool enough to harm me.
If you're certain, Radzig.
Prepare horses and supplies, and tell your men to pull back. We'll come down.
You heard him? Get to work. And any man who breaks his truce answers to me.
So, are you really going to let them go?
My word is my bond, Henry.
He's a cutthroat and a liar. Good men are dead because of him. What's to stop us from skewering him as soon as he sets foot outside?
Our honor.
If you let him go, he'll do the same again. Or worse.
God's
Es verdad.
justice will find him. And then you'll get a taste of my mace.
If we break our word of honor, we have none.
Entonces no había boss, así que al final no hay boss. Vaya. Para ganar es que tenían que matar, reventar en la cara con el mazo.
We'll hunt down those vermin yet.
Bueno.
Bring the horses.
Here she is, as I promised. Not a hair on her head harmed.
Divish,
Stephanie.
forgive me, husband. I'm sorry
For what?
for letting them into the castle.
Come now, my dear. You're not to blame.
who he was. He said he was your friend.
Never mind. Did he hurt you?
No.
Hijo de puta.
I hope your word can be trusted.
Certainly more than yours.
If everything goes as agreed, I'll set Radzig free in Scallas. If anyone tries to follow us, I'll kill him.
We won't.
My apologies for keeping you from your father, but you'll see each other soon enough. Oh, I almost forgot. Your sword. I expect you'll want it back after all the trouble you went to. Actually, you know what? I think I'll keep it. As a memento.
This isn't over. I'll find you.
I look forward to it. Yeah!
Quick! To the battlements! We have to see which way they go! Oh, they really are heading for
Scully.
Scallas.
Sí, como dijo. Scully.
Mount up, Henry.
Desde el inicio del juego.
Here's what he'll do if we follow them.
We're not going to follow them. We just have to collect your father. Or do you want him to walk back here when they release him?
Increíble, épico, ¿eh? Pero nada, pero los heridos del perro es que, macho, es que se pelean entre ellos. Se pelean. En serio, es increíble. Me esperaba un poco un final, no sé, más sangre contra él. ¿Sabes? Un final boss. Pero bueno, igual no. Vale, es que sabía que si no hubiera rehenes, todo esto habría sido fácil. Vale, pues al final no sabemos nada de Kaibo desde el inicio del juego. O sea, los humanos. O sea, solo vienen a atacarnos y no están ya. Ya no están. Es muy raro. Ojo. Me voy a chupar el perronito con tu padre. A Scully, Uf. Hace mucho que no voy mucho a Scully, La verdad es que en el capítulo no salía mucho a Scully. La verdad es que no. ¿Dónde? Ojo, ojo. Que me he ido mal. ¿Dónde es? Pues, ¿qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Que me pone letra A por detrás de mí? ¿O qué pasa, tío? Ahora consigas para reunirte con tu padre. ¿Y dónde coño está? Ah, quizá. Ah, vale, vale. Ah, ya es por ahí, ¿verdad? Buah, soy tonto. Vale. ¿Y qué es ahí? Uy, cuidado. Vale. Vamos, vamos, amigo.
What should I say to him?
Don't worry. It'll come to you. You'll see.
Well,
Un momentito, chicos.
I just hope he'll be there. Alive.
Vale, ya estamos aquí. Perdona que me han llamado. Vale, ya está. Ahora ya está, ya estamos. Perdona, chicos. Solo me tenía que llamar. No, necesitaba ayuda. Vale, ya está.
What will you do now?
Not long ago, I only made plans 3 days ahead at most. Maybe I really could do something for Rate and his people. Something really big. But there'll be plenty of time for that later.
Vale, un momentito. Me había reparado la armadura de esto. Ah, mierda, ¿ves? Me había dado. Vale, pues nada, no pasa nada. Uf.
He's a noble, right?
Sí.
Yes, yeah. So am I.
So Radzig will be there.
Yeah.
Truth is, I didn't think much about it. I just felt I had to do it.
¿No puedes correr un poco más? Vale, ahora. Sí, ahora me lo dice. Vale, pues esperemos que esté bien nuestro padre. Es que era nuestro verdadero padre, así que es un novio, curioso, ¿eh? Y me gustaría saber cómo pasó esto, cómo sucedió eso. ¿Por qué nos dejamos ahí? ¿Por qué no me convirtió como un novio? Así que yo soy un novio también. Había convertido en un novio.
There's no sign of them. Move on.
Está bien, sí.
I'm glad to see Ishban kept his word, sir.
Not half as glad as I am, Your Grace.
Well, we kept our word too. And now Toth has had his head start and he's fair game. Which way do they go?
To the north, but I would be careful, Sir Hans.
Fear not, Your Grace. I have twice as many men as he. Well, I won't keep you any longer. I'm sure the two of you have a lot to say to each other. Let's go!
All right, Father.
I am. They treated me quite decently. Although they did steal my horse, so I'll have to go back on foot.
It looks like it's all over.
Not by a long shot. It won't be over until we get this mess cleared up.
And catch that bastard. How could we let him go?
Would you rather we killed him? Even if it meant Lady Stephanie and I died too.
Of course not. But what was to stop us from killing him after the exchange?
Honor?
Honor?
If the word of honor of a nobleman could not be trusted, then he would never have agreed to the exchange.
Where's the honor in abandoning your son?
You know how it is. We were young. It happened. And I couldn't marry a commoner. Then your father, Martin, came along and took care of both of you.
He knew it.
What? That I was your father? Certainly. He was a great man. He took you as his own. And always kept an eye on you. Of that you can be sure.
I know so little about his past.
He told you nothing?
No.
Oddly
Pero sé que es un
enough,
caballero,
even though
¿no?
you don't have his blood, you're very like him. When he was around your age, he became bored of his trade and set out to see the world. He lived through many adventures, even fought in a war.
In a war?
Yes, in Poland, I believe. And I don't think he cared much for it.
That's why he wanted me to stay at home.
He spent some time in Prague, then settled in Kuttenberg. But it seems he quarreled with someone there and finally ended up here. You know the rest.
I loved him, but even so, I somehow always had a feeling I didn't quite fit in.
It was in your blood, I suppose.
I lost the one thing I had left from him. Your sword.
Ah. The sword. It's not my sword. It's yours.
¿Ves? Era para mí.
For a moment there, it was so near, yet so far. Oh, well, it can't be helped.
It was almost within my grasp, but just then I had something else on my mind.
Well, I think we may yet have a chance to get it back. This business with Toth is not yet over, unfortunately.
That's a chance I'd welcome. Not just to get the sword, but that bastard Istvan too. And then I'll find that German whoreson who torched Skalitz, and I'll slay him with it. I'll never forget his face. Or his name. Mark Vart von Aulitz.
Those are noble intentions, son. But don't forget there are other things in this world that are worth living for.
Like what?
Look around you. Blue skies overhead, green grass underfoot, beautiful girls. Good wine, a few good friends, and a fine steed under your backside. Those are things worth living for. Though I can't deny that swine who killed your mother must pay for what he did. But it's better not to dwell too much on that, at the cost of those other things. On the subject of steeds, I think we'll have to ride like the Knights Templar.
How's that?
2 up. One day I'll tell you how they got their seal. You can take the front.
Increíble.
It's like I always imagined it would be, teaching my boy to ride. Although it would be better if he were a little smaller. My word, it's all go today, isn't it? I wonder who this is.
I think I know. It's Margrave Jobst.
The king's cousin? I wonder what he wants. I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Qué pasada, tío. Qué pasada, tío. Vale, me esperaba un poco final, escena, no sé. Increíble. En serio, me ha encantado. Me ha encantado, chicos. Un aplauso. Espera, antes de terminar, ya he dicho que había una cinemática para el final. En serio, increíble. Aunque voy a deciros que ha sido un 8, ¿vale? Un 8 de 10. ¿Por qué? Porque las texturas se fallan un poco, ¿eh? Las texturas fallan bastante. Y bueno, todo el diseño del juego está increíble. Lo que falla es la textura. Pues bueno, no está nada grave, pero bueno. Es como si estarías jugando esa Andreas. Sí, el diseño es parecido. Pero sobre todo, increíble. Vale, una pena que no podemos recuperar la espada para Sin Razi, pero sería la nuestra. Así que nuestro padre era Sin Razi, tío, increíble. Qué pena que Guerrero era matado. Bueno, no, eran nuestros padrastros. No sé si puedo omitir esto. Así puedo omitir, vale, genial. ¡Ojo! ¡Ojo!
Doing well, son. Father. Come now. You know who sired you. That doesn't matter now. I miss you, Amar. I miss you very much.
You'll be fine. We're proud of you.
For what? I let you down. I lost the sword. I let that bastard get away.
Don't be so hard on yourself. There was nothing you could have done to save us. And someone has to live and carry the torch. As for the sword, it's just a thing.
You didn't want me fighting. Now look at me.
Standing up to evil isn't the same as sowing its seeds. You did what was right. I have to leave you now.
Oh, please.
You know I can't stay.
Will I ever see you again?
God knows. Make her proud.
Don't go. No. What on earth were you dreaming about? I couldn't wake you as well past
Hombre.
dawn.
¿Dónde estoy? Ah, pues ya soy novio, ¿verdad?
Right. I'll go
Ya soy
straight away.
novio.
What is it?
Ha cambiado.
It's just, I don't know how to address you anymore. All of a sudden you're Sir Radzig's son, hobnobbing with lords and ladies, and here's me as common as muck.
Oh, give over, you idiot. Do I look like a lord to you?
Not really. You're as much a lord as I am a nun, and I've never looked good in a habit.
Get out of here! Or I'll have you clapped in the stocks.
Les dice que es un mundo abierto ya, así que genial. Bueno, ya está. Ya tenemos todos. Esta es una zona privada. Porque sí. Porque sí. Me pone zona privada. Porque sí. Porque sí. En serio. Cada vez este juego, cada vez que veo una cinemática me pone esta es una zona privada, está prohibido, no puedes estar aquí, eres un gilipollas. Es que, vamos, así empezamos bien. Ah, bueno, no, vale, menos mal. Un juramento es un juramento. Vale, iba a ver si tengo la armadura puesta, pero no. Sí, tengo la armadura puesta. Vale, pero ya guardará. Epílogo. Ah, esto no ha acabado. ¿What? ¿Aún no ha acabado? Ya el castillo mayor durante el día. Va a reunirse con marcarse Dios. Supongo que esta es mi casa, ¿no? ¿No? No. ¿Cómo? ¿Ahora vivo? ¿No vivo aquí? Uy, vaya. Bueno, qué raro. Yo no sé si Scully ya había construido, no lo sé. No lo sabemos. Me había gustado saber cómo era Scully. ¿Sabes? Construido, ahí hay gente. Estaría súper genial. Bueno, vamos a acabar esta misión. Bueno, me queda poco tiempo, pero vamos. Ah, que solo va a haber... A ver si es corto, vale. Vale, va a ser corto, vale. Oye, mi caballo. No, este no es mi caballo. Vale, ahora. Vale, pues... Tenemos que ir. Bueno, antes de eso voy a preparar el traje, ¿vale? Pero voy a quitar la armadura aquí, ¿vale? Porque me quita mucho espacio, ¿vale? Vale, es un coñazo, lleva tanta armadura, vale, que parezco un monstruo, ¿sabes? Y bueno, vamos a perdernos así. Mira, antes de eso va a ser asaste, que aquí repara la ropa. Aquí. Igualmente, reparaciones. ¿Ves? Baratito. Gracias. ¿Cuánto dinero tengo? 22.000. Toma ya. Así de golpe. ¿Y mi caballo? Ah, ¿estás ahí? Joder. No sé si lo he visto bien, pero no vamos. Vamos. Vale. Va, que me pican ahí. Vamos a ver cómo acaba esto ya. Me habéis dicho que esto también es como una parte de cinemática también. Y dice que ya se acaba el juego. Me voy a comentaros esto también. Me pica. Ay, Dios. Yo no sé si va a haber una nueva partida como con plus, como decirlo, llevas todo de arma puesta, armas, todo guardado y puedes continuar aunque estés mejor. ¡Ay, mierda! Los puntos de habilidad, es verdad. Bueno, no pasa nada. Como el mundo abierto lo pondré. Pero sobre todo me ha encantado. Como siempre, un notable evento.
Are you going to the meeting with Margrave Jobst as well?
I am. What about Istvan? I assume...
That we didn't catch him? No. Because if we had, you'd be the first one to know. Have no fear. We'll get him eventually.
¿Qué pasa? ¿Para qué estás socio?
Anyway, let's go and see what Jobst wants from us.
Bueno, el caballo, ya apartado en la vista. A ver qué nos quiere. O igual es por... No sé si vamos a luchar otra vez, no lo sé. Es que yo no tengo ni idea, yo no sé nada de esto. Pero vamos, me está encantando, A ver qué nos cuentan.
My lords, Christ's blessings on you all.
And on you, Lord Gapen.
And this is my son, Henry.
I didn't know you had a son, Sir Redzig.
Came as a bit of a surprise to young Henry, too.
This gentleman here is John II of Liechtenstein, a member of my council.
I'm honored, gentlemen.
Come join us. Margrave Jobst was just about to tell us the reason for his visit. Your Grace.
I'm sure we're all agreed, Your Graces, that all this unrest must come to an end. This kingdom needs a king.
Question is, which king?
My cousin, Wenceslas IV, who is
Ojo,
being held
el
in
casco del
captivity.
cuarto.
I have to confess, my lord, that your answer surprises me a little. If I'm correctly informed, until recently you sided with your other cousin, Sigismund.
That I cannot deny, and I have always stated my position plainly. But times have changed.
How have they changed, Your Grace?
Sir, there is one thing on which we undoubtedly concur. That King Wenceslas, unfortunately, did not inherit his father's gift for governing. Sadly, his failures have cost Bohemia, the nobles, and our whole Luxembourg family a great deal of money and effort.
How did the king let it go so far, damn it?
It's in his temperament. He cares only for wine, women, and the hunt. A king, in fact, who never wanted to be king.
Then why didn't he just let his brother have the crown?
Young sir, the crown weighs heavy when there are duties to be performed. But to surrender it means giving up great privileges too.
But he did surrender power to his brother. When things started getting out of hand, Wenceslas appealed to Sigismund for help in restoring order.
What you're saying, Wenceslas invited him here?
This is starting to make my head spin.
Actually, it makes sense when you think about it. Sigismund wanted to re-establish the power of the whole House of Luxembourg. He thought if he helped Wenceslas win the imperial crown, in return his brother would help him become the king of the Romans, and leave the actual reign of Bohemia and the empire to him. Sigismund would govern, while Wenceslas could carry on doing what he was best at, enjoying the life of the imperial court.
Why wasn't Wenceslas crowned Holy Roman Emperor long ago? He was already elected king of the Romans. All he had to do was go and let the Pope put the damn imperial crown on his head.
Who knows? Maybe he'd prefer hunting and consorting with bathhouse wenches to spending time with the Pope.
Well, so would I must admit.
Sigismund's plan seemed sound enough, but it didn't quite work out, did it?
It worked for a while. He and his brother reached an agreement. Sigismund took over administration of the kingdom and began planning Wenceslas's journey to Rome for the imperial coronation. But then Wenceslas realized he would just be a puppet with a crown.
I must say, Margrave Jobst, Wenceslas and Prokop behave rather like naughty children in need of a good clout about the ears.
Sigismund would agree. He was already planning his rule of Bohemia, and all of a sudden, the rug was pulled from under him. I'd say he lost his patience and decided he'd drag Wenceslas to the coronation kicking and screaming if he had to. Just like a naughty child, as you say.
So he abducted him and your brother Prokop too, if I heard correctly.
Correct.
And you helped him do it, if I heard correctly.
Yes, your graces, it's true. I was there when Sigismund abducted Prokop. I thought everything could somehow be settled, that we could make my brother see sense. But Sigismund just wanted to put an end to the dispute once and for all, whatever the cost.
Vale. Pues Sigismund no pareció.
Do to stop him.
Cambió.
And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. The
Vale.
worst of it is that it was all for nothing. Instead of putting a stop to the revolt, it escalated it, and the result is this chaos we have today.
That's true enough, sir. But I must admit now, I'm not sure what your position is. The king is incompetent, but we must protect him?
The simple truth, gentlemen, is that for all of Wenceslas's faults, we have no one else.
So we'll have to make do with his idleness.
People like him, though.
But what can we do now? Sigismund has the League of Lords behind him. Otto von Berghoff, Heinrich von Rosenberg.
The situation has gotten completely out of control. Now even the nobles of the League of Lords are realizing that Sigismund wasn't the right choice.
So now Berghoff is on your side. Are we to assemble an army together with him and face Sigismund on the field of battle?
We're not in Hungary now. Such affairs may be settled elegantly, without unnecessary hostilities or expenses. I have negotiated an alliance with the Hungarian bishops, the Polish, and of course the Czech nobility, against Sigismund. Every day he is losing the ground under his feet, and that's why I need your help too.
O sea, reúnen facciones
What
distintas.
kind of help, though? Sigismund has a massive army, and Rosenberg, Berghoff, and Prague are behind him. Do you have an army you could face him with?
But that's not what I mean at all. There's been a revolt against Sigismund in Hungary, partly due to my efforts. And now he'll have to choose whether he wants to gain the Bohemian crown, which is a very risky enterprise, or hold on to the Hungarian one. He can't have both. And there's a tough struggle awaiting him in Hungary. I'm not sure he'll win, and Rosenberg and Berghoff know it too. They're not stupid. If the Bohemian nobility stands together, they will turn.
We are men of little consequence, Margrave. Radzig here lost everything because of his alliance with Wenceslas. Sir Divish came within a hair of the same fate. Even Rattay is defenseless against Sigismund and the League of Lords.
What's more, Your Grace, King Wenceslas languishes in captivity in Vienna. He can't rule too well from there.
And what do you propose? To sit with your arms folded until the Bohemian lands are turned to ashes like Skalitz? We have to put a stop to this senseless war!
And do you know, sir, what the true position of the League of Lords is?
I'm not on the best of terms with them at this moment, so you'll have to ask them yourselves.
Yes. Why not? I'll go and visit Bergov at his castle and we'll see what he tells me.
You know, that's not such a bad idea, young sir.
True. Though a little risky.
I doubt Bergov would harm a blue-blooded envoy. And you can find out what he has to say about developments and what the League of Lords is planning. Then we'll decide what to do next.
I'll help you compose a letter to him.
I'd like Henry to come with me.
Why not? He's proven himself an able investigator, and he'll also be a good bodyguard if anything should happen.
And I'll send
Un
Sir
espía
John here to
y guardaespaldas.
my eyes and ears there. I believe both your reports will help us get a better grip on the situation.
When can you set out?
Just as soon as I pack my things.
Excellent. Our brave Yobst and I will draft the letter. Get ready, and we'll meet back here.
Vale, nos está acabando el tiempo. Vale, pues vaya, una conversación larga. Vale, pues... Bueno, vas a seguir, no sé si va a acabar ya, no sé. A ver cómo esto pare. Bueno, esto voy a parar esto ya porque, vamos, porque ya estamos al final y ya vamos acercándolo. A ver, vamos a ver cuando esto pare. Último mensaje, ¿no?
Exactly. How about writing that you're
Marque,
concerned
Dios.
about current events
Juan,
that you
segundo,
want to see?
Este es mi padre. Ah, aquí. Tengo que entrar. Vale.
So, looks like you're off on a mission.
Pues sí.
Yes. I can't wait.
I don't want to dampen your spirits, my boy, but watch out. These are evil times, and who knows what can happen along the way. Not to mention that Bergov is no saint.
Don't worry.
I know. You've shown you can fend for yourself, but do take care. You'll be traveling as Lord Capon's bodyguard. You'll be there to make sure nothing untoward happens to him. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears wide open. What Bergov tells you is one thing, but what you see may be quite another.
Rest assured, Father.
And don't get embroiled in anything else. Just hand over the letter, hear out his reply, and return.
Yes.
Very well. Bergov is at Trotsky Castle. I think you'll find it quite an eye-opener. It's one of the finest castles in the land. It's 3 days' ride from here, so unless you hit a snag along the way, you'll be back soon enough. Any questions?
Uf. Apenas no sé nada de
I don't know
Sigmundo.
much about Sigismund.
He's the king's younger brother and king of Hungary in his own right. 7 years ago, he led a crusade against the Turks and was defeated at Nicopolis. Some say it was due to the recklessness of the French knights, most of whom were mercilessly slaughtered. Sigismund is ambitious and capable. He might well make a better ruler than Wenceslas, but he's arrogant, and to our misfortune, brutal. Not long ago, he himself was held captive by the Hungarian nobility. They dislike him as much as some of the Czech and German noblemen do his brother Wenceslas. Ironically, Wenceslas joined forces with Jobst to liberate him. And now this is how Sigismund repays his brother. There's no doubt about it, God does move in mysterious ways.
Creo que esto es todo.
Very well. Take the letter from Sir Hanush. And good luck, son.
Vale. No sé si tenemos que poner armadura, no sé. Antes de esto, vale. 20, chicos. 20. Vale, armadura ligera, vale. Esto, vale. Vitaira, tengo 20 ya también. A ver, ¿cuál? Requerimiento en tiempo, esto y más rápido. Este me viene bien. Es que no, si aumentas esto no pone un más 21, no, que va. Vale, y defensa 20 también, destroza armas. Vale. Vale, pues... La armadura. ¿Por qué no? Porque si vas a la guerra, claro. Bueno, hay que estar preparado para todo. Vas a quitar el escudo porque está un poco. ¿Me quitaron también el mazo? ¿En serio? Joder. Ah, no. Pensaba que me había quitado, pero no. Vale, pues... ¿Qué me falta? A que juegue la carta en menos... Yo. Ah, vale. Toma la carta. Bueno, tú. Un momentito.
I believe we have written it well, gentlemen.
Without a doubt. No one could deduce from this whether we are Sigismund's allies or foes.
I must travel back to Brno now, but soon I will go to Brandenburg and I will stop here on the way back. By then, Sir Capon should be back and we can discuss how to proceed.
Right. Before you leave, my lord, there is one thing that gives me no rest. Why did Sigismund come as a foe? It makes no sense.
If I may, sir, I think I can explain.
Oh, please enlighten us, young sir.
I live not far from Hungary, where Sigismund reigns. It is a savage country, and the constant war with the Turks has hardened the people. They need a monarch with an iron hand. So when Sigismund felt the wind of revolt, he reacted as he would at home. Only what works on the Hungarian nobles does not work here in Bohemia.
Bringing order is one thing, but slaughtering and pillaging with a horde of barbarians quite another. What purpose does that serve?
But Sigismund did give the Bohemian nobles a chance to take his side. It was only when they refused his ultimatum that he lost patience and took to the sword.
As for the barbarians, he could afford nothing better. The Hungarian nobility would gain nothing from joining his campaign in Bohemia. He didn't have enough coin for a regular army, and so he recruited the Cumans. What he does not pay them, they make up for in plunder.
But in the end, he didn't have enough to even satisfy the Cumans. That's why he raided Kuttenberg and Skalitz. He wanted the silver.
That makes sense.
My lords, how's the letter coming along?
It's done.
Then we can be on our way.
Now remember what we said, boy. All you have to do is deliver the letter, listen to the answer, and come back here. Don't provoke Berghoff in any way.
Provoke? Me? Never, Uncle. We'll be back in a few days. Farewell, your graces. Come, Henry, my men are waiting.
I wish you Godspeed.
Vale. Ya, no pasa aquí, os estaba viendo, vale. 85. Vamos, vale, no pasa nada. Vale, bueno, yo creo que esto ya acaba, chicos, ya. Bueno, no vas a viajar desde ahí, no sé. No sé dónde vamos, ¿a Alemania? No sé si vamos a Alemania. Bueno. Pero bueno, esta va a ser la última misión. Vale. Enhorabuena, has completado la misión principal. Si quieres, puedes llevar a cabo las misiones secundarias y actividades. O simplemente viajar por el mundo, puedes finalizar el juego en cualquier momento si montas fuera del mapa con el pelotón de Sig Capone. Vale. Sería un mundo abierto, ¿no? Vamos, yo estoy listo. Venga, vámonos. Vale. No sé si tenemos que hablar o tenemos que esperar. Un momentito, a ver. A ver, ¿qué pasa ahora? ¿Capón? Bateta, pues tienes la cara sucia. ¿Por qué tienes cara sucia? Que no lo entiendo. Capón, hola. Hola. Bueno, tú, hola. No me jodas que se ha quedado pillado. No me jodas, ¿Qué tengo que hacer ahora? A ver, con los capos en el patio. Vale, pues tendré que esperar. A lo mejor tengo que esperar al 9, quizá. No sé. No sé, es que a veces cuando tengo que hablar con alguien, no sé qué pasa, no se mueven o se quedan pillados. Bueno, ha habido un poco bus, pero bueno, un poco, bueno, no es tan grave, pero ha habido un poco bus. Lo más peor es que hay muchas texturas, ¿sabes? Lo que pasa no carga bien, se ponen texturas malas, como si estarías jugando en GTA San Andreas, ¿sabes lo que digo? Como texturas con pared blanca, otros invisibles. Pero bueno, para mí los invisibles es espectacular, para mí. Vale, creo que sí. Es que en las 9... Ya, ¿no? No, what? Pues... Vamos, ¿bajas o...? No, what? Ah, no, vale, estás aquí. Guau, no te había visto, cabrón. Joder. Venga.
So, can we set off now, Henry?
Estoy deseándolo.
Of course. I can't wait.
So, to horse! The Lord of Burgos is bound to be waiting us eagerly.
Vale. Pues nada. Y Tascapón.
I'm getting used to it.
And what about Rodsey? Has he accounted for not owning up to you the whole time?
He explained it. All will be well, I think.
Glad to hear it. It's far more acceptable for a nobleman to befriend a noble bastard than a blacksmith.
Yes. Mind you, don't come to blows with a blacksmith, my young lord.
Vale, somos amigos. El sonado ya confía en mí y todo lo demás.
Well, I admit all the scheming has me a little lost. I thought Sigismund was the devil, Wenceslas a martyr, those on his side the heroes, and those against him the villains. I believed we'd rescue the king and all would be well again, but now it looks a lot more complicated.
Es complicado. Se pelean entre ellos y ya está, y esas cosas. Claro, se pelean entre ellos. Pues.
Fathom how after all this backstabbing they're somehow still on speaking terms.
I don't know either. Beggars belief.
No sé, se pelean entre ellos, hay muchas disputas. Vale, ahora entiendo por qué Sigismundo no apareció en muchos de esos capítulos.
Such a
feckless drunkard? Not really. And to be honest, I'm not sure I wanted to know. I slept better believing my fate was watched over by a wise and powerful monarch.
So did I.
What a dismal world when you can't keep trusting your own king. On the other hand, times were better with him here than with him.
¿Pero vamos los dos solos?
Isn't that the truth?
¿En serio vamos solos? ¿Y los demás? ¿En serio vamos a ir los dos solos? ¿Y el resto que había montando en caballo? ¿Montados en caballo? Qué raro.
But he's a monster. Look at what those hordes of his are getting up to here. What he did in Skalitz. True enough. On the other hand, if Wenceslas and Prokop hadn't double-crossed him, none of this would have happened. No one forced him to burn Skalitz. That's a fact. But he couldn't let them shit all over him either. Not that I'm defending. He's a weasel.
Es que todo eso es un necio, nada más. Vale, todo eso fue por disputa. Pero querían saquear cosas. Porque creo que es por traición, por orden de rey, esas cosas.
Last winter, a certain Sir Jan Sokol of Lambert, a well-known knight, or robber baron to some, tried to occupy the city of Iglau, which was on the orders of none other than Prokop.
And what has that got to do with Hannes?
Well, he was there with him. Of course, that's not something to brag about in front of Yops.
And what was it all about?
They wanted to occupy a city that was on the side of the League of Lords, but despite there being several hundred strong, they didn't take it. For one thing, they couldn't get past the Iglau women, with their pitchforks and cauldrons of hot water.
I would never have thought of Sir Hannes as such a rebel. And have you heard anything about Rupert of the Palatinate?
A little. He can't manage even to wrest power from a king who doesn't much care for ruling and isn't fighting back. That doesn't seem like a man who has what it takes to rule. And that's all I need to know.
And that Berghoff we're going to see, do you know anything about him?
I haven't heard much good about him, but I have a feeling that some other nobles are quite in awe of him. And his castle is apparently quite impressive. I'll be interested to see for myself.
Deja de llover, así de golpe.
Wealthy, pompous. The king doesn't seem to like them much. He's chosen to let the lesser ranks of the nobility into his circle, men like your father. I admit I don't blame him one bit. But the lords weren't happy about their lost influence, so they put the foot down. If I were Wenceslas, I'd let them hang after they abducted me the first time. But he gave them seats at the provincial council? Little wonder they're back on their old tricks.
Vale. Qué pena la esconta, vaya mierda la esconta, solo voy, tú y yo, solos. ¿Estamos en Scuti? No. Vale, pues vaya. ¿Vamos nosotros dos solos? A ver cuánto dura esto. Guau, ya hemos pasado ahora el límite, pero bueno. Yo creo que va a acabar este ya, No creo que falta mucho para terminar. Bueno, lo voy a decir, es una pasada. Vale, empieza a llover. Antes ha parado y ahora vuelve a llover. Vale. ¿Algo más que hay que comentar? No sé si habéis dado cuenta, pero que ya no están las cuentas. Sabéis una tormenta, rayos. Joder. Vale, no me digas ahora. Vale, hay un campamento, vale, hemos llegado, vale. Vale, partido guardada. Oh. Ya, pero esto se han dejado atrás, A ver con campo, vale, menos mal que corres ahora. Y aquí no hay nadie, solo vamos tú y yo solos. Vale, pues nada. A ver. Ojo. Ojo. Curioso. ¿Y esto? Curioso. Luego... Uf. ¿Cuántas cosas hay aquí? Parece un tesoro. Y el escudo con boca. También me lo llevo. Vale, tengo peso. Justo me lo dices. A ver. Y dice que es robado. Venga ya. Dice que es robado. ¿La coraza? Qué chulo. Bueno, esta voy a barrar. No sé si esto pierdes, no sé. Vamos. De novia. Ah, de novia. Vale. Vale, que son iguales. Sí, son iguales. Vale. Pues nada. Claro. O sea, viajamos ya. Podemos viajar. Vale, pues aquí ya se acaba. Vale, era un trofeo. En fin, oro. En fin, un trofeo oro. Nada, ya se acaba el epílogo. Ah, mira, aquí están nuestros aliados.
I finally have the feeling we're doing something worthwhile. We're helping to save the king.
Instead of saving his drunken majesty, I'd rather find that whoreson who murdered my parents, get the sword back from him, and skewer him with it.
Ah, vale, y ahí es donde tenemos que matar.
I have a feeling you'll get your chance one day, and it won't be long in coming. Forward, men! Audentes fortuna iubat!
Ya se viajamos a Alemania, supongo, ¿no? Aquí es el territorio alemán, ¿no? En fin. Así se acaba, chicos. En serio, fantástico. Es que no sé por qué ha puesto créditos antes, pero bueno. En fin. Me ha encantado, chicos. Me ha encantado muchísimo. Bueno, espera, no sé si habrá cinemática o tenemos que hacer algo. Fin, sí. Ya se ha acabado, ¿no? ¿Tengo que omitir o tengo que hacer algo? Para continuar. Ah, vale, continuar, vale. Y bueno, gente, bueno, aquí se acaba, chicos. Bueno, gente, como puedo decirlo, ha sido unos momentos increíbles, lástima que no tenemos que enfrentar al final boss. Pero bueno, entre hoy ya hemos derrotado fácilmente y vamos, ya he ganado como novia, como siempre. Bueno, gente, aquí lo dejamos, este magnífico juego. Dicho esto, me ha encantado. Si queréis más de esto, yo no creo que no va a haber más. Yo no sé si en teoría va a haber una segunda entrega, no lo sabemos. Como he dicho, como siempre, seguimos subiendo vídeos en los juegos que hemos dejado antes. Y la gente, como siempre, espero que os haya gustado este juego. Y como siempre, un abrazo muy fuerte. Y nos vemos en el siguiente capítulo. Y hasta siempre, chicos. Que os guste mucho. Hasta la próxima, chicos. Adiós.